Welcome to MyBlueNation.com preview of this week's UK U of L football game known as the Governor's Cup. Not the Governor's Cup, Kansas versus Kansas State, but the Bluegrass Governor's Cup. Papa John's Cardinal Stadium. We got special guests here, insider of the U of L Cardinals for years and years and more years to come. Corey Nichols, he's here, and it's not a Blue Nation. It's the Blue Nation, and Corey Joseph here knows a little bit about the U of L Cardinals as they are going to take on the Wildcats and Joker Phillips, and both teams have new coaches this year. And what is your thoughts on Charlie Strong as he's starting his tenure at the University of Louisville?
I believe the biggest difference with Mr. Charlie Strong is going to be discipline and having the team motivated and on the same page. Off season, gotten them in a lot better condition this year, a lot less fat on the offensive linemen, a lot more muscle on the linebackers. Talent still is down a little bit, but I think you'll see them more organized this year.
Who are some of the go-to guys that Charlie Strong is going to need this first game here Saturday?
I think anytime you look at a team, it starts in the trenches. Offensive line has 4 senior starters, so that would probably be the strength of the offense. Good stable of backs. Vic Anderson and Bilal Powell be a good duo at running back. Quarterback, Froman, he can manage the offense. He's not going to win a game for you, but he might not lose it for you either. And defense, a lot of question marks on defense.
Now, how did Froman get the starting job? What were some of the things that Strong has talked about why he went with Froman?
Well, the Kentucky fans, if you're going to compare offense, it'll probably be similar to what you saw at Florida. Adam Froman, he isn't a Tim Tebow, but similar style. It's a spread option, so the quarterback's going to make plays with his feet. And Froman is probably the most mobile of the 3 guys that were competing. He also has the best leadership, so that's probably how he ended up getting a nod.
So there's no way that Froman's going to be like Tim Tebow. Is that what you just confirmed?
Yeah, Adam Froman will not win the Heisman Trophy this year or have any commercials during the Super Bowl.
You heard it first here on MyBlueNation.com. But we'll see about that. I don't know. I think he might have a case versus Eastern Kentucky, maybe. I don't know.
And, well, hopefully they get a big lead and they'll get some other guys in there. He won't get the fattest stats too much.
Yeah. Now the running back position for the Cardinals. What is that? What's that looking like?
Well, there's a kind of a 1-2 punch at the top. There's going to be a lot of guys getting carries. Bilal Powell, he's been up and down. He's a senior now, as a lot of guys are up and down under the previous staff. But Charlie Strong actually recruited him when he was at Florida, so he already knew about him. He liked his potential, and he thinks he's really come a long way this summer. He's going to have a big year. And then with Vic Anderson, I don't know if Kentucky fans, comparison for them might be the way Percy Harvin was used in Florida's offense, where he's kind of a hybrid running back, wide receiver. With Vic, the last few years he's been kind of injury prone, so they don't want to run him up the gut 20 times a game. They're going to get the ball in his hands in different ways, put him out in space, and let him catch a few passes. Take a few handoffs, mix it up.
Yeah. Okay. Now U of L's their answer, and a lot of the listeners will know Randall Cobb. It'd probably be the go-to man for the Wildcats most of last season and probably all of this season if he can stay healthy. Maybe in the Wildcat, getting in the Wildcat formation. But if Louisville had somebody like Randall Cobb, who would it be? Who would be their number one guy? Would it be Anderson?
Well, if they're going to run, and they very well may, it's kind of unknown, and they're not really giving a lot away. I think they're trying to keep their little bit of element of surprise since nobody's seen this offense yet. But they're going to run a form of the Wildcat formation. There's a quarterback as a true freshman out of Ohio. His name's Dominique Brown. He's really raw as a passer. That's why he's not going to be the starting quarterback full time. But he's a great athlete, as fast as anybody else on the team. So I would imagine they may have a few things for him, kind of similar to Randall Cobb, where he can. He does have the ability to throw, so he is kind of a dual threat when he runs that formation.
Nice. In last year's game between the Cats and Cards, the Wildcats somehow pulled it out 31-27 in Commonwealth Stadium. Kentucky does lead the all-time series record, 13-9, but Louisville does lead the modern history between the two, since they renewed the rivalry in 1994, 9-7. Mike Hartline gets the starting nod from Joker Phillips. Last year's game, he played a key role in that, starting for Rich Brooks and the Cats, throwing an interception and maybe not playing as well as he could have. And Justin Burke was the starter for the Cardinals last year. Does that make it harder for Froman this year with not as much experience as Justin Burke? Or
Froman actually started more games than Burke last year, so I think he's got as much experience as anybody. Neither one of them are extremely battle tested, but I think he has enough experience to get the job done.
Nice. I believe the keys to winning for both teams is whoever has control of the ball, has the greater time of possession, whoever has the ball the most and takes care of it the most, least amount of turnovers, like any other football game usually, that's going to be the winner. Do you see any? You think that'll be about right, or you got an inside scoop on something? What you got, Corey?
Traditionally, the team that has the most rushing yards, controls the ground game, comes on top in this game. Rivalries always come down to big plays. That could be even special teams. Last year you saw Locke return a kickoff right after a penalty on the previous kickoff. They re-kicked it and Locke took it 100 yards for a touchdown. And then at the end of the game, Trent Guy with the fumble on the punt return. The two big plays on special teams was probably the difference in last year's game. I could see it be the difference again this year.
I remember about 3 years ago, I believe it was, maybe a big Andre Woodson to Stevie Johnson. That was a memorable one. And Brian Brom and Cragthorpe took the defeat that night. Alright, Corey, so for this Saturday's matchup versus Kentucky versus Louisville, what do you think is going to be the outcome? What you got a score in mind? What's it looking like?
I'm going to go with somewhat of a defensive struggle, not a lot of fireworks. I'm going to go with 23-20 Cardinals.
All right, I don't know if the listeners are going to like that. We got, I'm going to say it's going to be Kentucky 40, Louisville 28. Breaking in the Papa John's Cardinal Stadium real nice with their new seats. And game time's 3:30 on most of your ABC stations. And this is a great big goodbye from MyBlueNation.com. I'd like to thank Corey Nichols for stopping by. It was good having you there, buddy.
It was good being here. I'll be back next year.
We'll see you then, and
see you for basketball season.
Yes, sir.